Hey, and welcome to FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. Hey, and welcome to this FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast. Today, I'm talking about maximizing your performance and especially with the strength training and the maintenance during the season. So this is specifically for ice hockey players, but it's basically for any sport, competitive sport. Doesn't matter if you are playing football, handball, basketball, you are a runner, and you want to incorporate strength training during the season. And I'm also talking about training principles, for example, how to improve your speed, how to make your shooting faster, or whatever specific thing what you need to be doing in your sport. So could be in a handball, could be throwing faster, or in ice hockey, it's shooting faster, getting harder hits. And so there's a lot of topics for athletics. So if you have any athletic friend or ice hockey player who you know that would benefit from this episode, I would really appreciate if you share this episode. So a little bit about myself. So my background, I have been a professional ice hockey player, was playing until I turned 30. Now I'm 41. So, and past 8-9 years, I have been working as a fitness coach. And this is ice hockey is especially something what is really close to my heart. I'm still refereeing myself in top leagues here in Italy and Austria. But not as that is still, I'm still focusing on improving or performing on the ice and keeping it up with the younger players as game is getting faster all the time. But these are basically principles what I wish I would learn already earlier. And for me, when I was playing, I was most of the times I was very good at strength training during the summertime. But then when there was a hockey season, it always felt like that I barely never did it, or when I did it, it was not very much. And when I was able to implement it to my routine, I immediately recognized the difference. So why this strength training and kind of working also during the season, it's so important. So for strength training part, it's basically your goal if you are athlete who is playing during the season a lot of games, and most of the season it's basically only recovering and getting ready for the games or events, and it's you don't have a lot of time to focus on improving your off ice or strength. But what could make huge difference and what made big difference for me was to implement just one strength training. So I was earlier, I used to do it like, especially in ice hockey, when you use a lot of your legs, you are tired. It doesn't make too much sense to, let's say, if you have a games on Friday and Sunday, to start doing Saturday some kind of strength training, as that is the time when you need to be just focusing on recovery and improving your performance. But let's say that you play Friday, Sunday, and then after Monday is your probably day off when you want to be resting. But then, for example, for me, it was always Tuesday or Tuesday morning when I was implementing that one strength training per week. So why this is it's so important. Like if you look your schedule, to add it in some point of your also during the season, if you have obviously possibility. If you play every other day, you probably don't have too much and possibilities to do it. But when you are kind of not even aiming to improve, but just trying to maintain where you are, it makes such a big difference as how you are gaining strength. It's not only, it's more about consistency. For strength matters more consistency than doing it for a short period of time kind of perfectly. So consistently, even it's a lot less than usually, just that one kind of training in a week, it helps you so much. And it was for me when I was able to do it the whole season through, like one kind of strength training. I will tell you a little bit more about details, how to actually do it later. But it helped me, like then when you start that kind of off-season training, you don't need to work so much to get where you are, where you were. Like, let's say, usually as a hockey player, I was the best shape in off ice, obviously, before you went on the ice. And then it took a while after season to get back to even close to that level where I ended up before season, because I wasn't doing it the whole season. But when you are able to improve it, like kind of aiming for to maintain what you are having, it makes such a big difference in any sport, and especially in a highlight. So this is first of all, it's how it's helping you. Like, because first of all, that if you want to maintain your muscle mass also during the season, not just for performance but for overall like athletic health, and it's you are also, if you don't do it, you are a lot likely to get injured, and then, like I said, that step from working kind of from maintenance to starting to actually focus on improving your, for example, your speed or strength, it's so much easier when you are not starting from zero. And also, like when you are able to do it, it helps you to, like, for example, with your body composition, when you are maintaining your muscle mass and metabolic rate, you are getting so much more, like kind of, you can eat more, like your metabolism is going to be higher when you are maintaining your muscle mass. And as if you are never doing it, you are probably, it's not going to be a lot, but you are still, like for me, I lost always some kind of muscle mass strength, and it took, like, even you have that kind of muscle memory, what helps you to get back to pretty relatively quickly back to your old levels, what you used to have. But let's say that, for example, in ice hockey, you have maybe 4 or 5 months of kind of off season. And if you work first month to get back to level where you were, you would get so much more advantage if you could get started where you ended up, while you have been able to maintain what you had already before after last season. So this is one of the things, like that kind of for hockey players and for any other athletes, is that just that how to actually then implement it, like and that is what I always find the hardest part, like especially during the season. Your focus is on somewhere else, and you just want to perform at the best level. And but then if you think it like it, how you could be doing it, like obviously it depends on week by week. But let's say that you have easier week, one strength training is more than enough. So this is and you don't need to do it a lot. Like let's say that in ideal cases you would work maybe 5 to 10 sets per muscle group per week. But during the season, if you are able to do even 1 or 2 sets per muscle group. So for me, it was always what I found worked the best was like kind of doing just a 1 set or 2 sets. Usually I did 2 sets, but it could be just 1 set per muscle group. And what I recommend is using, like, you don't need to do like it have to be some kind of weight that it feels heavy, but you don't need to go close to your failure, but just basically reminding your body that that you still need that strength. And usually it gave me that feeling that when you have worked with your muscles, like obviously even when you are tired, you are going to feel it in your performance, especially not on the same day, but day after. And even I was doing it on a game days. If I didn't have time in the morning, I might be doing just the one set, some explosive strength training, so that I feel a lot better and a lot stronger when I have been doing it. So this is just just the principles to how to actually implement it. So you don't need to exhaust yourself during the season when focus is only on maintaining, but just going through your whole body and doing 1 to 2 sets, or I would say that one is probably too less, but let's say that 2 sets per each muscle group, like exercises. It could be just on like kind of specific exercises for your sports, or just the simple, just full body workout, 45 to 60 minutes, or even less, depending like how you are feeling. But that was always for me, was especially for hockey players. I was kind of, as you use a lot of your legs, you feel tired, and I still do it. I still feel tired. Obviously, I'm not going to, like, let's say that if I'm at the moment, if I have harder work like games or something, or I go hiking for weekend, Sundays usually longer hike, I feel it in my legs on next day on Monday. So probably Monday I don't want to work on my legs, I just let them recover. But then on Tuesday morning, even it's still, I'm not fully recovered, but that's the time for me when I hit my legs if I want to hit them, because I know that later on I don't want to feel sore or anything. So this is just that ideal time is to do it like when you have, that you have had maybe rest day, or you know that you don't need to work. Like on Monday I could work still on my upper body even if my legs are tired, but then for the next weekend I would work probably on my legs on Tuesday, when I'm still kind of having that kind of day off, and then starting it, but not making it like too much on the same day. As this is strength training, it helps you to prevent that injuries. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but when you have that, it's not only it's strength training your muscles, it's helping you those with all kind of connective tissues, like that it's you can reduce the risk of common injuries, like in ice hockey it could be like those kind of like groin strains, knee injuries, or lower back pain. And this is something, when you do it consistently, you have a lot less pain. And that there are so many studies available with how much well planned kind of strength training can decrease those likelihood of those kind of injuries. And if you think it like that, how that strength training then improves like all that on ice performance. So it's directly on better performance on the ice or in your sport. So if you work, like I tell you a little bit later, like about principles how to actually strength train for your specific sport, and if you have like kind of what kind of opportunities, if you don't have chance to go to gym, how you can do it like with your body weight. And but this is just that basically you have to find a balance kind of that between working on that strength and also skills which are specified for your sports. And this is like for athletes, that strength part is usually like everybody is excited to work on their skills. Like for example, ice hockey players, they like to shoot a lot, they like to do some skill drills. But then when it comes to strength training, that's like that. That's something what most of the people are not doing, but they are skills which are kind of hand in hand going. So you would see so much more benefits if you could implement only that one thing a little bit better. So like I said, this is one time per week, and it's now I tell you, like I said, during the season, it's just one single workout would do the thing to maintain it and feel you and help you even improve your performance, especially when you have a lot of games. But and think it like what kind of exercises. What I always recommend for athletes is to work like you could be doing some squats, or you could be doing some like deadlifts, you could be doing some bench presses or like some traditional strength exercises. Obviously, those are the like kind of big three, like compound exercises where you work many muscles at the same time. So if you don't have too much time, I would say that those are the most beneficials. But then when it comes to uh, basic like or specific exercises, let's say for ice hockey players, you have to always think like that. How is your sports played? Like for example, in ice hockey, if you do just regular squats, obviously it's in some point it's better than nothing. But I tell you example, when I used to play, it was basically bodybuilding workouts what we were doing, just big squats, deadlifts. And if you look now how training is and how it should be, it's kind of more specific for sport. So if you think like strength where you need it, for example, in ice hockey, you skate, you are never on two legs or almost barely never. So you use only one leg at a time. So also your strength training should be focusing on just single joint exercises, like one leg squats, one leg like lateral lunges, all kind of variations, what kind of movements you are making on the ice, and then focusing on getting stronger on those movements what you need. And it's same kind of with the upper body. If you do like bench press is a great chest exercise, but you basically never need, unless you are in ice hockey, unless you are doing some cross check where you're supposed to get probably a penalty, but you don't use both hands at the same time. So you rather focus on kind of like a rotational movements, what you are needing for shooting, for giving a hits, and at the same time, like kind of with the single arm exercises like rows, or you can do it with the dumbbells. So you kind of create that strength with in a movements where you actually are going to need it. So these are just the principles, and just to think how to think what kind of exercises you should be doing. And question what I often get is that how to improve your speed and how to become faster. And this is also, as this is very good question. And most of the people think that always it's just the sprints that I need to be faster runner. I used to think it that way too, but if you think it like how to improve your sprint, if you think just an example for runners, like there are two type of runners, like there are sprinters or there are marathon runners. And sprinters, they both are running and they want to probably improve their speed. Like obviously for sprinter, their goal is to only run 100 meters or whatever as quickly as possible, then it's done. But for marathon runners, it might be end of the marathon, that last sprint, what they have to make. And but obviously they look totally different. Marathon runners are very thin. They don't have a lot of muscles, as that is not beneficial for their sport. As if you have muscles, you have more weight. Running for longer becomes harder, and sprinters, as their job is literally just to get that 100 meters as fast as possible. So for athletes who are not like, obviously, if you think like I'm thinking about as a hockey player or any kind of most common team sports, like you don't have too much benefit of having too much muscle mass. So that's not the goal. But if you want to improve your speed, it's combination of having that, being able to create that maximum power, so your maximum strength. So so you need also, obviously, to be able to create that, you need that strength. And then it's all about that explosiveness with those sprints. But most of the people, they are missing that kind of strength part. And or when they are training, they are never training with the heavy weights, because there are basically, in a strength training, there are basically three ways how to train it. Like, so first of all, it's first is improving your maximum strength, which means that you are lifting heavy. So it's up to 6 repetitions, usually even five or less repetitions, and you use as heavy weights that you are feeling that you can't do more than those 5 or 6 repetitions. And with this principle, you have to have also longer rest times. And it's exactly the same thing with explosiveness. So you need to have like I'm talking with experience. I I used to play myself. I tell you now a quick story about example. When I was in a high school, we were practicing like a hockey players. Usually we were like always kind of hardworking guys and looking like other sports that, oh, we work a lot harder than others. But then when we were trying to improve, for example, our speed, and in a high school, we had athletes who were sprinters, and they were practicing. They did one sprint, then they were resting for, let's say, 5 minutes, stretching, talking, and we were like go 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 without basically any rest. That we are good to go until your breath is getting a little bit better. You went for next sprint, and you did it. Obviously, at the same time, we did a lot more sprints than those sprinters. But then now, when I understand that how actually wrong we were, because obviously it's not for nothing, but we were working more on kind of endurance and not actually improving your speed, because it's the same thing with the maximum strength. So to be able to create that maximum strength or speed, your body need to be relatively good recovered. So for maximum strength, that's why you need, like, if you go to the gym and you see like some uh, guys or women using a lot of heavy weights, then they are sitting there watching their phone, and you might think that they are actually just lazy. But actually, when you are lifting heavy, you need to have at least 2 minutes rest, and usually it might be even longer, so up to 5 minutes between the sets. So because if you don't take that rest, you are not able to use that heavy weights, and then you are getting more out of it as you take that enough rest between the sets. And it's same thing with the speed. Like this was for me personally, I struggled the most with the speed exercises, to having that enough rest, because I was thinking like that, why the hell I should rest 2 or 3 minutes between the sets if I do just one sprint or 10, 15 box jumps, why I should be resting 3 minutes. But if I don't, because I would be able to do it. It's not, I'm not working on my maximum strength. So you can try this if you want, that if you do just some like a long jump, like as far as you can go, you don't feel the difference. But I see it every time when we do some tests, and you don't take, obviously it's just a one jump, but you are not, if you don't take enough rest, you rest like, let's say 30 seconds, uh, you are not going to get even close to that same, as far as with the first one, unless you rest at least at 3 minutes in between, because your body is not able to provide that or create that same explosiveness and same force. And that's why if you want to increase your maximum speed, you have to take that longer rest in between. And that was something what I struggled personally, because I was kind of chasing the feeling, to being tired or feeling that I have done the workout. Because when you work on maximum strength or maximum speed, that should not feel that you are exhausted. Like, especially with the maximum strength, it's often like that during the workout, you feel that you are doing kind of too less, and you should be doing a lot more, because you don't get that same kind of feeling when you are working like a hard and without almost any rest, and you feel like that now you have done something. And when you do maximum strength workout, you don't feel that exhausted during the exercise. But trust me, after workout, you will feel it, and you will get a lot more out of it when you are able to use those heavier weights, or you are able to actually perform those speed exercises with the maximum effort. So this is basically how to improve your maximum strength. It's obviously you could be using specific exercises. What I like to use, especially for ice hockey players, like doing like because there is two different, like you could be going, because you are able to go down, like kind of, it's called eccentric phase. When you are going, let's say squats, you are going down, because that you can always use a little bit more weight, as that is always stronger. But then to come up, you are not able to use the same power or same strength. And for maximum strength like that, always try to go slowly down, like that eccentric phase, and then as fast as quickly as you can up, so that concentric phase should be some explosive. And it's not that you don't need to go, if you're athlete, you don't need to go up to that, you can't make it anymore, that you have to be. It's more focus on that fast, but this way you can, when you go down that eccentric phase, you can increase the total volume or total time under tension while you are slowing down when you go down, and that during that eccentric phase, or obviously it could be going up depending on exercise too. But just as many people are not familiar with those kind of fitness phases, eccentric and concentric phases, so I try to use more like a kind of language that everybody understands. So this is basically principle of improving your speed. So it's combination about being able to create that force, so maximum strength, and then that explosiveness, which could be jumps. And important with this is that rest time in between. So you need to have, I would say, 2 to 5 minute rest between the sets. And in most cases, I use always something like maybe 3 minutes, as that is something in between. But it could be longer, shorter. I would not recommend, maybe some cases depending on exercises, if you are 2 minutes, but never under that, because if you feel like you are able to do it, you are not working anymore for maximum strength. So but you are working more kind of conditioning or endurance. And this is just the principles. And think, if you choose exercises, you can always think about what kind of movements you need. For example, ice hockey, it could be one single leg Bulgarian squats, single leg like lateral lunges, or kind of movements or reverse lunges. What you are kind of similar exercises what you are doing, but especially if you do maximum strength, let's say 5 repetitions or 3 repetitions, you could be doing just also 2-leg squats, for example, for legs, or bench presses, as if you do this, it's a lot harder to do with some dumbbells, or you don't often have possibility to use enough heavy weights. So then about that speed part, it could be like usually those exercises, like kind of let's say during the season, obviously you could be doing a little bit of both, as that is a maintenance phase, and you can't periodize it too much. But and it could be just one, like, let's say, examples of leg strength improving your speed could be just 3-4 sets of 3 to 5 repetitions, like exercises like squats, Bulgarian split squats, and then after do it some kind of explosive things like skating jumps, box jumps, kettlebell swings, or something where you are really like kind of going fast. And usually those repetitions, they could be not more. I would not recommend to do more than 15, but just that it's a quickly fast adaptation for that, because your body will always remember that what you do in the end. So you will increase that your strength now. So then about principles for off season, if your goal is to improve your, let's say, speed, how to do it, or overall athletic performance. So this is something like what I never periodize my workouts when I was playing myself. I wish I learned it faster, but now, because often you have many goals, and this is not only for athletes, this is for every people. Basically, it's like you might have different goals, like to get stronger, improve your endurance, improve your speed, improve your athletic performance, or like several different goals. And the problem is that if you kind of try to do everything at the same time, you are not getting they are so counteractive goals, like improving your endurance, improving your speed, or improving your maximum strength. Like they are not, you are not going to, you can get all those results, But the most optimal way is that, because let's say that your goal is to improve your endurance and your speed. So how to improve your endurance? So you are doing like a lot kind of higher volumes, like repetitions, like strength endurance. You work around 15 repetitions, 15, 20 repetitions on movements, and then improving your strength, maximum strength. It's like up to 5, 6 repetitions maximum. And you are not, if you try to do them at the same time, it's your body doesn't know what you are actually trying to improve. So here comes periodization. What is the most important? And this is like something in one of my programs, what I have in my apps is called FitMitTuro Performance. And I'm sharing these principles, just that what I'm using. So first month is like, for example, improving your speed. It could be, or it could be depending on obviously of your off season. It could be 3 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks, focusing just on maximum strength. So you are really trying to building that maximum strength. And then for next 3 weeks, you focus, for example, on building like that strength, what you like for your specific sport. Like, for example, ice hockey, it would be creating like kind of all kind of movements, shooting, skating from shooting, that kind of like a multi-planar strength, how to call it, like for example with examples that you get the point is like, for example, lunge, reverse lunge with some kind of shooting, so that you are skating and shooting, like, so that kind of exercises, or doing one leg deadlifts or one leg cleans. So this kind of like that you use your whole body to create that strength. So this is kind of or using like some rotational lunges, or focusing on just the movements what you are making, like a rotational core strength for ice hockey players, for shooting or for hitting, and explosive. Like this is basically often the second phase, what could be another 3 weeks. Then for next week, when you have kind of created that foundation, that you are improving your maximum strength, you are improving that overall strength in all kind of movements what you are going to need, the next phase would be to focusing on that kind of that explosive strength adaptation. So that's the time when you do then kind of like those focusing on those jumps, explosive exercises, or snatches, or that kind of like really quick strength exercises. And this is also another phase what you could be doing, like depending obviously again of your off season, but another 3 weeks. And then let's say that month 4 would be then to focusing on strength durability or endurance. And that is like oftentimes then to do those kind of exercises with for example, some circuits with interval sprints, or you could be doing some kind of strength training, like with the time, like squats for 40 seconds, pull-ups 30 seconds, push-ups for 45 seconds. That kind of circuit is often what I use, for example, in my programs. And then in addition, some kind of interval training for 15 minutes, where you are doing 30-second sprints, and then having a kind of rest in between and repeating it for 6 to 10 times. So you get your heartbeat up, you have that kind of that strength endurance where you work as fast as you can for a short period of time and this type of periodization for your workouts, you can get all results. So you are getting all your goals, different goals, but you don't focus on trying to do them like all at the same time. So because if you try to do it at the same time and you focus on just one day maximum strength, next day you are doing interval training, and next day something else. So this way you put the focus, and your body knows that, okay, now we are actually improving our maximum strength. Now we are focusing on endurance, because those are very competitive signals to your body, and that's why it's a lot better to focus only on one thing at a time. So this is just a little bit of background how to actually build your strength training programs, how to where to focus it on during the season, after season, and obviously like during the season or during the maintenance phase, you could be focusing on, for example, just one thing, not trying to do everything, or just simply focusing on maintaining your muscles, and that could be just one workout per week. And obviously that could be focusing on, for example, if your goal is to improve your shooting, then it would be focusing on one thing. And obviously during the season, if it's not affecting to your performance, you could be adding these principles like what I just said for off season. But for example, for one thing, for example, for your upper body strength, if you feel like that's not affecting for your performance, you could be focusing on improving your shooting muscles by this way. So this is all about like I could tell so many examples, but as this is very individual depending on your goals, but this is how you are actually, what kind of like hopefully understanding, like because then those actual programs, how to create it, that is so much individual. And like I said, I have in my membership coaching principles how to do it, how to actually do it, what type of exercises. And then if you need specific things, exercises for your specific situation, then it's all about individualizing those exercises, what you are needing. So then a little bit, that's what I wanted to talk still before ending up this is for those shooting. So for upper body strength. So this is again, like I already mentioned it. It's all about those principles. Choosing those exercises, what kind of exercises you need, and then like for ice hockey, for example, or many sports, like think it like what kind of movements you are needing, and then finding some kind of resistance. Obviously, it could be using some bands, it could be using some cables, it could be using some weights or ball, or it doesn't matter. That there is some kind of resistance, and then principles like obviously, for example, core strength. It's all about like what is very important, and often people are not doing it enough. Is kind of like if you think that where your core is, like obviously you need that explosiveness for to use your core, but most of the time your core, the job of the core is just to hold your body together. So you are not like, and often you use it. Let's say that you are doing some squats, you are already using your core, but so then you don't necessarily need so much that core work. But then obviously exercises like planks, which are isometric exercises that you are holding your body without trying to, that it's kind of resisting that strength. So planks, side planks, then those kind of like a pallow of how to say it, pallow of things like where you are holding a cable, you don't move your body, you are just trying to hold that exercise. So, or you might be moving your hands just from front to outside of your chest, back, just holding your core, so that it's changing a little bit that point. But pallow press is the exercise. I just forgot the name, what was how most of the people are calling it. So these kind of exercises are improving your that core strength. And what is that actually, that function of core is holding and keeping your body together. And then when you are already, you have that kind of exercises, then think it like your specific sport, what kind of movements you need. Because as you see, if you look internet, you see some lot of app exercises which are then basically just some crunches or something, but what kind of movements you are making. So this is this comes that kind of specialization for your sports, that what kind of movements you are making on the ice, or what your goal is, if it's improving your shooting or hitting. So it's all kind of rotational movements, and also those isometric holds. So this is just the principles for how to improve, for example, upper body, your shooting, and what kind of things you could be doing. Then it's last thing what I wanted to talk is a little bit about finding that kind of balance on that on ice skills training with off ice training and conditioning. So think think it like that. If you, like I said, you gotta have, ideally you have both of them, but think it like look your training schedule, what kind of opportunities you have. If you, let's say that if I know that I'm an ice hockey player, I work on my skills, like I have just my hand skill. I probably don't want to do really hard upper body workout, but if I know that, or after games, I don't want to, if I want to my legs to recover, I probably don't want to do heavy squats on the very next day when they should be recovering. So it's all about finding balance, when to do, what to do. And as a principle, just one single, like don't think it that you have to work out, like go to the gym 3 times per week. If during the season you make it as a priority to do it 2 sets per muscle group per week, so it doesn't matter how you divide it. You could be doing 2 sets for legs on Tuesday, 2 sets for chest back on Wednesday, 2 sets for calves, and okay, biceps, triceps, that kind of shoulders exercises on the next day. So think it that it's if you get those 2 sets per week per muscle group, you are on a maintenance phase, and how you are going to divide it. Like I divide my workouts. They are because of scheduling, I might be doing 2 days, 2 sets in the morning, 10 minutes, 2 sets, or another 10, 15 minutes in afternoon, next day again. So I try to keep it, doing it all the time, little bit what is just possible, and not just think it, I gotta find perfect time to do everything. And even some weeks, yeah, I miss it. It's not that big deal, because there is still that consistency is there, and it's not about perfection. So that was episode. Obviously, what helps you, what I wanted to mention last week episode was all about nutrition and recovery in strength training, and that I have full episode about nutrition. That's my previous podcast episode. So check that out if you, because that is resting, that nutrition part, that makes such a big difference that I can't emphasize it too much. I personally didn't take care of it too much, and now when I do, and I'm not top athlete anymore, I feel so much difference, and I get more out of my workouts. So I gotta say that at this point, when I was younger, I love to work hard, but now I get better results by working smarter. And when I take care of nutrition, take care of rest, and all that kind of things, while still being able to enjoy life. So that nutrition part, it makes such a big difference. So you could be practicing perfectly. If your nutrition and rest is not where it should be, you are not going to see results what you would see if you kind of get everything, not perfectly, but even a little bit better and improving. So that was episode for today. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, turo@fitmitturo.com, or shoot me a DM in my Instagram at personal trainer Turo. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please share it with one of your friends or in your Instagram story. So thank you for listening, and talk to you soon. Hold up, friend. Do you love FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast.